Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our In Conversation with series here at Black Theatre Workshop. Very, very, very happy to be back and to have you joining us. Thank you so much. I'm Quincy Armorer. I'm the artistic director, and it's been a couple of weeks since we've had the series. We took a little bit of a break, but we are back to have a wonderful conversation with you, and so happy to have you here. Today is Thursday, October the 1st. We are now past the 6-month mark of going into quarantine and isolation from all the way back in March. I hope that you are all doing well and managing to thrive as much as you can in these very, very difficult times. I can share with you all that it's certainly been a challenge for me personally and for the organization. Hills and valleys, as I like to say, good days and bad days, and hopefully, I'm assuming that that's the same for most people. But I hope that the good days are outweighing the bad days. And I do want to share with you that everyone at Black Theatre Workshop is looking forward to being able to share with you our 50th anniversary season, which is coming up. It's a big year for the company. And it's not perhaps going to be the year that we had anticipated, but it's still cause for celebration. So in the coming weeks, we're going to have more information to share with you about some of the projects that are going to be happening over the course of the next year. So please stay tuned for that. But today, I want to focus a little bit on the positive. I don't think it's any surprise that with everything going around with the pandemic, and now that certain areas, Quebec and the greater Montreal area, Quebec City, are now in a red zone, and that's been wreaking a little bit of havoc on many industries, and our theater industry has certainly been hit very hard. By that, I want to acknowledge that some of our colleagues, I know that our colleagues over at Tableau Theatre, they were lucky enough to be able to finish their On Point series that they did just before the Red Zone came into play. And congratulations to everybody who participated in that, and to our colleague Matt at Tableau Dote. But I do want to mention that also our colleagues over at the Centaur Theatre, to try to offer opportunities for work and art to our artists, had this wonderful idea with their Portico project, which has been fantastic. But as a result of this new red level, they've been forced to cancel their production, which is very devastating for them and for everyone involved. Many of our AMP family members, past and present, had productions in the Portico project that were supposed to be going this weekend and have had to be canceled. So everyone at Black Theatre Workshop, we want you all to know that our thoughts and strength and solidarity is going out to everyone involved in the Portico project. We see you, and we're so happy to have live performance, and it kind of sucks that it had to end so abruptly. So we're thinking of all of you. But today, I want to see if we can focus a little bit on some of the positive things that are going around. And today, I'm really excited because I want to share a really positive success story coming out of the Black community, coming out of our local theater community. I'm very, very happy to have as my guest for today the wonderful, talented Christine Rodriguez. So Christine Rodriguez is an award-winning playwright and also performer. She works on stage, in film and television, in commercials, video games, everything in both English and in French. She's also been the school tour coordinator and now school's liaison for Black Theatre Workshop for the past 5 years. Christine has a certificate of screenwriting from the UCLA, an MBA from McGill University, and is currently working on a major in Hispanic studies at the Université de Montréal. She's also recently made her foray into becoming a filmmaker. So I'm really interested in talking to her about that. But the most pressing thing, not pressing thing, but exciting thing for me anyway, is that Christine wrote a play that we produced at Black Theatre Workshop for our school tour that was recently nominated at the Montreal English Theatre Award announcement. And so I'm looking forward to talking to her about that as well. So please join me in welcoming for our conversation my dear colleague, as well as my dear friend, Christine Rodriguez.
Hi,
Hello,
Quincy.
Christine. How are
Hi.
you?
Thank you for having me on.
I'm so happy to have you on. It's so weird because I'm like, hey, Christine, how are you? But full disclosure, we saw each other at a staff meeting on Zoom yesterday. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's so good to have you here, Christine. And as I was saying, maybe I don't get to tell you this enough because we work together on a daily basis at Black Theatre Workshop. But in front of all of these wonderful viewers, I want to say publicly, congratulations to you on your meta nomination for Outstanding New Text for Simone Half and Half.
Thank you so much, Quincy. And congratulations to you because the show did also get four other nominations. Yep. So you directed the play, you pulled the team together, and so congratulations to Black Theatre Workshop and to you for directing the play, creating that wonderful show.
Well, thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. I do want to quickly mention the other four nominees. Howie, who was our video designer, was nominated for a contribution to theater. And then three of our performers were nominated for their supporting performances, Alexandra Laferrière, Dakota Wellman, and Jennifer Roberts. So congratulations to all of them and to the entire team who worked on that show. Because it was a team effort, as we all know. But for you, Christine, I think I'm so happy for you that you got the nomination for Outstanding New Text, because some people, our viewers, might not know this, but this was a play that we commissioned. Full story, everybody. About 5 years ago, I wanted to produce a play at Black Theatre Workshop that talked about the biracial experience for members of our Black community, and just couldn't quite find what I wanted. So I talked to Christine to write it, and everything worked out. And 5 years later, here we are. So my first question to you, lovely Christine, is what was that experience like for you in terms of being asked to write a play that already had kind of like a theme attached to it compared to the stories that are the nucleus of it is your own thinking? How different was it for you to write Simone Half and Half compared to the other plays you've written before?
Well, the thing with writing Simone Half and Half, or a play about a biracial character, was that I hadn't done it yet because I hadn't formulated an idea of what that story was going to be. So when you asked me to write a play on that topic, it was a bit challenging in terms of like what that story was going to be. And I think you'll recall it took me a while to come back to you with something. You're like, where's the play? What's going on? Because it's such a vast topic, and I didn't have a clear idea of what I wanted to talk about. I interviewed people, and I realized everybody's biracial experience is different. You could be biracial, but if your dad is from Trinidad, or your mom is from Grenada, or your mom is from Haiti, or whatever, or your white parent is francophone or anglophone, that's like every situation is different. So the challenge was in trying to find a story and kind of the pressure to deliver something, because I was given this commission. So I had to produce something, as opposed to just creating something on my own, which is on my own timeline. There's nobody asking where's the play? So you start to feel like, well, what it's like to be a professional writer, in the sense that you can't just say, well, I need to think, I need to go on a retreat and think about this. Like, you have to deliver the product. So it changes a little bit the approach, and also just, I guess, the pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll discuss your imitation of me going, where's the play? Where's the play?
No.
That was
you
really
didn't do that. Well, you at some point you were like, Christine, where's the play?
That's what it was at some point, for sure. But but I'll say that I think we ended up producing the play a little bit later than we had originally anticipated. But that's something that we found together. Even though we had a date in mind, we need to give plays new plays, any kind of new play, the time that it needs to develop. And I should just mention that we did have some help dramaturgically from Emma Tibaldo and the team over at Playwrights Workshop Montreal in the creation of this play. So thank you very much to them as well.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're in terms of some of the plays that you've written in the past. Like I know you've not only written but you've self-produced. You've produced plays of yours in the Fringe Festival. What was the
Mhm.
last one? Was that
The Autism Monologues.
That's right.
Yeah, I did the Dreaming in Autism, a one woman show in 2012, and then the Autism Monologues. We were a cast of five, and that was in 2018.
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, like I remember seeing that in that show in the Fringe, beautiful play by the way, really really well done.
Thank
And then
you.
did it have another life after that, or was it supposed to go somewhere? I can't remember.
Yeah, we got invited by Selwyn House School
Right.
to present it at the International Boys School Conference, which was held in Montreal in 2019. So they asked us to reprise that show at the conference. So that was like a really great opportunity because we performed to like a few hundred people in a big ballroom at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. So
Hmm.
that's another instance where you feel the pressure when somebody's actually like you're not doing it for yourself, as the Fringe might be more for yourself for exploration, but then when you're doing it somebody else asks you to do it, and then you feel the pressure to you have to deliver, right? Like this isn't an experiment anymore, it's a show for people who are paying to have that show. So it's a bit of a different feeling than when you're just like having a free for all at the Fringe and you could just, you're doing it for your own creative expression or yeah, for the collective experience of working with other artists.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a question because you're also a performer as well, and you've performed in some of the plays that you have written. I know that you performed in Dreaming of Autism. You were in the Monologues as well, but you were not in the production of Simone Half and Half. So, what was that experience like for you? Because when you're in the show, at least you can be a part of being on stage for that first performance, and you at least have some control in how the performance is going to roll out. But when you're the playwright who's just sort of sitting there and watching the show. What was that experience like for you?
Actually was really relaxing. It was
Oh, good.
like I know like when you give off your work to somebody, to other people could be very stressful because you're like, oh my God, are they going to take care of my baby? What are they going to do with my play? So you have to let go. But the thing is, like in handing it over to you, there was like a lot of trust. I know your work. I've seen the plays produced by BTW and your work ethic. So I mean, I had complete trust in handing it over to you. So I didn't have a lot of questions. For me, it was very stress free. I think that the stress and the pressure went on to you in terms of then producing the show and directing it. Whereas for me, I took a step back and I could actually just watch the process, watch the actors grow into their roles, see all the pieces come together, the video design, the costumes. So that was pure joy, really. That's the difference between producing my own play. Like the Autism Monologues, you have to deal. You're the producer. You have to. You're acting, but you have to deal with all the elements, all the personnel. Whereas this, it was just pure joy to watch it happen. Come into a few rehearsals, but then also go into the schools and actually see the show perform. That part was a little stressful because it was like, oh my God, how are the students going to react? And so but it's really kind of a surreal experience because you're just all this happens and it's theater, so you can't capture it forever, and you try to keep it in your memory or to just remember that experience because I don't know when I'm gonna have my play produced again. I don't we don't, as an artist, you never know when the next job is coming. So it was yeah, it just was really a joyous moment for me, like walking on cloud nine for a lot of months before and after.
Awesome. And I will say I agree with you. Like I so enjoyed going to experience the students watching the show. That was the best part of it for me, because you rehearse it so much and you try to envision how it's going to be received for an audience that is a way different generation than the one that you're in. but I really enjoyed being able to watch them watch the show. It was one of my favorite parts of the whole Simone Half and Half experience. So thank you again for creating the play. And to everybody who was involved in it. So successful. Can't wait for the metas to see how things fare. I'll also just quickly shout out congratulations to all of the meta nominees in all categories for all theaters, particularly in a year where we couldn't quite finish our season even. So it's nice to be able to take some time to acknowledge the great work that was there in the 1920 season. I want to also just segue a little bit, Christine, as you know I like to do when we're in the office, even though we're not in office these days. But talk about that. Talk about the fact that we work together. You're a part of the BTW staff, the BTW team, and it's 5 years now, right?
Yeah, it's 5 years. It's really been a joy. I work as the school tour coordinator. Now it's called the school liaison. And basically, I try to get as many schools as possible to see our school tour every February during Black History Month. And it's a great passion of mine because, as we know, there isn't enough Black culture or history in our education system. So our school tour is a way to tell different stories, to show a different face to Montreal schools, and to help them with their curriculum, to add a bit of diversity. So for me, it's a passion. I almost take it like personally when a school decides not to have our show because I'm so convinced that the material is so solid. Every time BTW, which you are the artistic director, you select the plays that are going to tour, and I believe in each one immensely. They always have different topics, and I get the feedback from the teachers and the students. I see the feedback that they send, and in my type of job. Other types of jobs you might not get that, but I get to actually see the feedback from the teachers and the students, where they're saying, "Oh my God, this was so amazing! I learned so much. I didn't know this had happened," or "Oh my God, you guys should come back next year." So such a great feedback. So it's a really fulfilling job for me. I'm really happy to be part of the team. It's also, well, it's also kind
we're
of
just getting a little message here from Dakota. Thank you to this team. I want to thank you, Dakota. Sorry,
thank you. Yeah, no. Well, I guess I just was gonna say that my roots, my mixed race roots are from Trinidad and Tobago, and Black Theater Workshop was started by a group of people from Trinidad and Tobago. So it's kind of really special to 50 years later, like I'm part of this, and so I'm, it's. I didn't really grow up in Trinidad. What are my roots? What's my culture? But I'm actually working in it like a product of people who came and other people from the Caribbean. But it's really special.
Yeah, it's the same for me too. Like my folks are from Trinidad. I was born here, but that's where they're from. I've only been a couple of times, but you can't escape that that's part of the culture. It's part of what's in you, and so it is a really special thing to be of the West Indian, of the Trini community, and to be a part of the workshop now, because that legacy and is just so incredibly important. It's so great to be a part of BTW. I have to say it.
It is.
But going back to the school tour and having you run it, like for those of you who are out there, we're proud to say that our school tours have been very, very successful over the years, to the point where we often get sold out, and then schools are calling. We're like, sorry, there's no more room. And so that is in large part thanks to you, Christine, because you do such a great job of communicating with the schools and doing the bookings. But as we all know now, given the situation that we're currently in, we do have a school tour that is going to be coming up in February. But there's still so much uncertainty as to what's going to be possible. And so I guess I know a little bit of this, obviously, because we update each other in the staff meetings. But I think our audiences might be really interested in knowing where are the schools at in terms of the COVID-19 and being able to make sure that that their students are still having access or being exposed to some level of art, because we have to look at how we're going to be able to share our work. So what are you hearing from the schools? Is there still as much interest, or what's different specifically this year compared to in the past?
Well, there's just as much interest, especially in the times that we're now, and the topic of the play, related to Black Lives Matter and the justice system. So there is just as much interest, but there's a lot of delay in terms of, usually I would have booked half the tour by now, and that's not where we're at, because a lot of schools are waiting to see what's going to happen. Some people are going ahead and reserving a date anyways, anticipating that, they're going to be able to use their auditorium, but only fill it by half with social distancing. And other schools are already anticipating that they would prefer to have a live stream. So there's a lot of uncertainty around it. So this is probably one of the most, I wouldn't say stressful, but just the strangest years for me, because in this position, because we don't know what to expect. Things could be fine in November, December, but then we could have a spike and then everything shut down in February. So it's dealing with that uncertainty. But there's a lot of interest, people. So, I know between you and me, we'll be working and finding out a way that we could get to as many schools as possible.
Yeah, and I'll just also point out that obviously the health and safety of the students and the people who work in the education system, the teams at BTW, and the artists involved are our main priority. So we're obviously going to be, adhering to all guidelines that as they change leading up to the tour. Murdoch says, "Sold out school tours. Christine is a rock star." I agree with you, Murdoch. She's quite the rock star indeed. Thank you, Murdoch, for giving me a natural segue. Our rock star, Christine, who's doing so well as a playwright and a performer and as a schools liaison, has also forayed into the world of filmmaking. So this is something that's new for you, and I'd love you to be able to tell some of our viewers. You have recently, I don't know if it's finished yet, but let me know, but you're in the process of producing your first film. Tell us about that.
Well, as you know, I have a screenwriting certificate from UCLA, and I've written some screenplays, but I never really pushed to the point of having a film produced. And Black Wealth Media started a program called Black Ink for emerging film writers, and to help us support us, incubate, us, and to help us move forward with writing a screenplay, producing and directing our film. And so that's what we started in February, and everything was shut down with COVID in March. But I guess I could relate some of that experience to people who are struggling right now with their projects being canceled or postponed. And basically that shutdown allowed us all to really work a lot more on our script, and to take more time for pre-production, so that in my case, I wasn't as rushed, and I was really able to work with the team, the different departments, and pull the filming together. So it is tough to be in a shutdown, but at the same time, it does allow us to create more and to prepare more, and in anticipation of when things open up, and then we hit the ground running, which is what I did. I think in June, July, production started opening up again, so we were ready to go. We filmed. We did have a COVID scare on set because somebody got sick, and then she had to go get tested for COVID, and then we had to wait to see if her test was negative or positive. It came back negative, thankfully. So then we had to rush to pull together the production to start up again and finish it in the weekend within the time frame that we had rented all this camera and lighting equipment. So it was really crazy. So it's crazy to do your first film, but then to do it in conditions of COVID is even wilder. But we pulled it off. We were very conscientious. We tried to be as conscientious as we could. And I have to really thank the members of the team, Danny Blanco Hall, Giovanni Arteaga for writing this song, Laura Torres for the DOP who brought so much, Nalo, which works with BTW quite a lot, Nalo Soini Bruce, Rob Denton for sound. I mean, there's such a huge team of
Got a great
people.
team.
Yeah, I did. And so I'm really grateful. It was a lot of work, but 13-hour days, insane. But
Yeah, not unusual on a film set, that's for sure.
yeah.
Hang on, I just want to point out there because we skipped over that. The name of the film is called
Oh,
Fuego.
yeah.
Oh, look at that! There you go. There's a beautiful poster. And can you give us maybe just a little bit of a scoop about what it's about?
Yes, it's about a struggling Afro-Cuban man who's living in Montreal. He's hit rock bottom, and he needs to reignite the fire inside him to reclaim his identity and to reconnect with his roots and to find joy again in life. So that's the story in a nutshell.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
And where are
yeah.
you? Where are you right now in the process of it? Like, are you still in post production?
Yeah, we're in
Where
post
where?
production. We're in post production, so I have an editor that I'm working with, Juliette Crit. She's a student in the film program at Concordia, so she's editing the film. So we're at the very last scenes right now. So we're in post production, and the goal is to launch the film on the Black Wealth Media website. I believe my date is it's Friday, October 16th. I don't have it in front of me, but it's going to be mid-October, barring any issues that come up, but
Wow,
that's the goal. Yeah.
that's really soon. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I
Thank
guess we
you.
should give a little shout out to Black Wealth Media for all the fantastic work that they are doing in terms of
Mm-hmm.
mentorship. Everybody out there hopefully knows how important mentorship is to us at Black Student
Mm-hmm.
Workshop with our artist mentorship program. But Black Wealth Media has a similar program that they've been doing now for a while, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor here. So our props over to Black Wealth Media for the work that they are doing.
Yeah, they've been really great. Yeah, it's a lot of support, and also just not just the people running the program like Henri or Eric or Mariah, but also the other participants. We help each other out with questions, and I've never created a film, so it would be like, what should I do? About this or that, or I have a disagreement with this person and artistically, who's those kinds of issues. And so because some other people in the program had already done some films, like I could get some feedback and some guidance. So it's like we're a team, kind of like the VTW mentorship program where people help each other. And, yeah.
As it should be. As
Mm-hmm.
it should be, 100%. But we're coming up on the end of our time here, Christine, a little bit. It's lovely to talk to you. But before you go, I started off the program just by saying how these are very interesting times that we're going through for a couple of different reasons. Even beyond this worldwide pandemic, there's a lot going on, and specifically things that are touching the many Black communities. Um, the most recent thing that is on my mind right now, our indigenous communities, and the injustices that are being faced by them. There's just a lot going on, and so I like to just check in with people and find out, in with everything that's going on around the world, personally, professionally, all of those things. How are you doing? How are you holding up in these very, very strange times that we're in?
Me, you're asking me.
Asking
I'm
you.
Oh, me. I was thinking of other people who are going through a really rough time. I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm at home all the time with my son. He didn't get to start Dawson, so I think it's really affecting him the most in terms of having missed out on his prom and high school prom,
Mm,
graduation ceremony. And just, I mean, he has 7 classes. He's on Zoom all the time. So it's rough. it's rough. He's very isolated. It's not seeing friends and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
it's tough for him. And I have family members who've gone through some really tough things in Toronto related to COVID. So, but I feel I've been lucky. I have to say, I have really been fortunate. And yeah, I think for me, the art has been what has kept me going. It's
So,
really what has kept me going,
me
is
too.
being able to create. Like, if I didn't have the film to keep me to work on, I don't, what would I would have had nothing. So, finding a project, like right now I'm going to be done the film. So, like, for me, it's going to be finding the next thing I can start working on and take advantage of this time I have to create more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if I can, you're just reminding me of something. Oh, I'm going to come to that question in just a second. What are you working on next? But you mentioned, taking care of your son, and as someone for myself, for example, as a non-parent, I think that's something that some of us forget to think about, the extra pressure or struggles or barriers that are there for those of you who are raising children through all of this. So just send some extra love and strength to you and to all of the parents out there, or to anybody out there who's facing some additional challenges out there. It's certainly not easy for those of us who who aren't taking care of other human beings. And so I just wanted to mention that to you and to everybody out there watching.
Yeah,
Um,
especially parents who have younger children
yeah,
all the time. But I would have to add the parents with children with special needs, because it's the routine of school and activities is what really helps a lot of children on the autism spectrum or with other special needs to be happy. And when they lose that, it's really disastrous for them, for their well-being. So I just wanted to mention to that, because it's an issue that I hold dear to my heart. So.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I do want to come back to this question that came up here just a moment ago about Christine. What are you working on next? I know you still got the post-production for the film, but are there any other projects in the future for Christine Rodriguez?
Yes, there's something I've been working on with Julie Barbeau, which is also continuing on the issue of being mixed race, but from an adult perspective, and addressing that diversity, about how two little girls who were both born at the same time, living in the same building, who knew each other as babies, but grew up and completely split apart, and kind of like coming back together in kind of a Black unity, because at the end of the day, I think that the Black community is, for me, is the blanket, the comfort that helps to heal. When you are a person who is Afro ascended and facing challenges. As a result. And I think for us, it's the media, the way the film and TV theater industry, you would think the arts is very open and wonderful, but it's actually one of the most, as you know, one of the most, it's very limiting for people of color, Black people, Indigenous people. So that's the next project is a bundle of these things from a mixed race perspective of like, where do I fit in? Who am I? What am I?
Oh, that's great. That's another exciting project coming up in the future. That's great. And our thanks to le Réseau des Artistes pour l'Équité for the question. Christine, you know this. I've told you this before. I think you're fantastic. I'm so proud of the success that you're having, both now as a filmmaker and as a playwright. I think it's very inspiring. It was a pleasure to see you on my screen and not in a staff meeting for a change, as much as I love to connect with our team every week. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you in this context and in this format. And again, congratulations on the meta nominations and for all of the things that you were doing.
Thank you so much, Quincy. Thank you for the great opportunity that you've given me as the school liaison and also as a playwright for Black Theater Workshop. Thank you so much. And congratulations to you too.
Thank you, my dear, and it's been my absolute pleasure. Mwah. I'll see you probably
Bye.
tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
So great. So thank you all for being here. Oh, there we go. That is our program for this week. Really appreciate you coming back to spend a little bit of time with us in the afternoon here online, which is our way of being able to share some content with you. We will be back in the next couple of weeks. Oh, thank you so much for all these congrats coming out. Thank you, Carmen. I saw Karen was there before. We really appreciate the support of our patrons and our community. So please continue to be there for us, and we're going to be there for you. Remember to support everyone out there. We could all use some love and support and kindness right now. Our love to all of our colleagues out in the theater community who are struggling a little bit or a lot in trying to find ways to keep creating work. I would also like to mention our colleagues at the Quebec Drama Federation who are doing a fantastic job of keeping our community updated with news and information about what's happening with everything, but in particular when it comes to this pandemic and the rules around gathering and what that means for our production companies and for our community. And that's perhaps one of the things that I'm trying to focus on. There's been so much negativity, and I'm trying to focus on positive. And what I'm seeing a lot lately is I'm seeing the strength of community, how we come together and how we support each other. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So amid all of the things that are not ideal, to put it mildly, I think that there's something really wonderful in seeing how we as humans, as people, as communities are coming together in love and support and solidarity. That's a beautiful thing, and I hope that we just all continue doing that. So that's it for me. Once again, thank you so much from everyone at Black Theatre Workshop. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and please look out for our next In Conversation With coming to you within the next 2 weeks. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.